More Pain Click. Yes, we back at it with another one. And this one is Ren. The story of Eden. The story of Eden. I don't even need to go any further with any Ren song or whatever. It's Ren, for Christ's sake. We all know who he is and what he capable of. And we just gonna jump right into this one, y'all. We got Ren, the story of Eden. Another requested song. Well, the story of Eden. Yeah. So yeah. Let's get right into it. No More Pain Click, Chili Beans, Renegades. Mount up. Let's get it.
Let me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the...
Okay, hold on. Is this how it starts? Or is he gonna start rapping or singing? I don't know. I mean, I've heard songs where Ren starts off with a story and talking, but okay, we're gonna see. But one thing that puzzled me is
It starts with a God who wanted more.
that right there. A God who wanted more. Okay, this I'm not understanding that. A God, what could a God possibly want that he can't get or would want, shall I say? Because a God is omnipotent. Um, they're beyond anything our mere mortal minds can comprehend. So they're all seeing, all knowing, all having, you name it. There's nothing a God could possibly want that they can't get or don't have. So I don't understand that one. Unless he's talking about a particular God who wanted more. You know what? No, Lucifer wasn't a god. So he was an angel. Yeah. I don't know. Let's listen and see. And I like this retro game look. You know, leave it to Ren. His imagination is on a whole nother plateau. And Ren is, like I said, he's very strategic, very meticulous with his stuff. And nothing is by accident, you know, it's by design. He knows what he's doing.
The story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the heavens and the earth. He had the angels by his side, but they had no will of their own, and so the autonomy to love or reject him was never theirs. All but for one, the once called bringer of light, Lucifer, morning star. Lucifer was the fairest and most intelligent of all the angels. He was the closest thing to God's image, and in his likeliness, Lucifer felt restless. He began to question and doubt God. He doubted the hierarchy opposed upon him. He felt God was arrogant. In his frustration, Lucifer built a throne that stood even above God's and declared mutiny.
Yeah, according to scripture, you know, I know a lot of people believe that the first sin was done in the Garden of Eden by Eve and Adam, but that's not true at all. The first sin was Lucifer. Yeah. When he went against God. That was the first sin. That was the first war in heaven. When Lucifer tried to take over. He got a glimpse of himself and felt he could, he was better than God. So yeah. I mean, there's more to that, of course, but in a nutshell, it's in the end, he was banished. He was thrown out of heaven. Yeah. But that was the first sin. Lucifer created, he sinned first.
Even above gods, and declared mutiny. A war ensued. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to earth. Once again, God was alone with his power. Perhaps from loneliness, perhaps from curiosity, perhaps from a desire to share love, God began to work on his greatest project yet, a being that would mirror himself, the human, two humans specifically, Adam and Eve. They were placed inside a paradise built for them on earth, the Garden of Eden. In the garden, God placed a tree that bared fruit that would grant anyone who ate it powers bestowed only to a God, to tell good from evil, left from right, to live righteously or to sin. He named this the Tree of Knowledge. God told Adam and Eve they could eat whatever they wanted in the garden, but never the fruit from the Tree of Knowledge. And if they disobeyed him, it would be punishable by death. The basic way the story of Eden is told is that Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the form of a serpent to eat a fruit from the Tree of Knowledge. Convinced, she bit the fruit, she passed it to Adam, and he did the same. Suddenly, ultimate knowledge filled their minds, and they realized they were naked and felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt anger. He exiled.
That voiceover he's doing, that sounds like Lucifer speaking with him.
And felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt anger. He exiled Adam and Eve and cursed them with the life of a mortal. They would work, they would bear children, and they would die. The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge and that God would spare me.
Both were true.
This wasn't some great deception, meaning that Satan, in the likeliness of God, perhaps understood his intentions. In fact,
the only lie uttered in the
Garden of Eden was
by God, who did not end up
condemning
Adam and Eve to
death.
This could be seen as an act of
mercy, but the sheer fact that the tree existed and that humans
were initially cut off from this knowledge
may imply some part of God was afraid that if humans were granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that...
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that this could be controversial, but this is, a man's opinion or his thought process into the whole spiritual thing. Everyone has their own perception as to what God's intentions were. Me personally, I don't know what his intentions were. No, I honestly don't know. But I seriously doubt he was trying to hide truth from them. I think he was basically trying to help and let them know. I'm I'm gonna leave that one alone. Like I say, I'm not a religious person. I'm really not.
Granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that could
grant this knowledge in the first place.
implies that a small part of
God, supposedly all-knowing,
perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to
bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was an exiled angel of free will. Humans are exiled
descendants of Adam and Eve.
also with free will. Not only have we shared a similar fate to the devil, we were also both constructed in
We
the
were
image of
also
our
both
Creator,
constructed in the image of our Creator.
meaning our behaviors, in some shape or form, imperfectly echo His.
We could assume that this kind of
God has his doubts, but as the most
powerful being,
Being in the universe
he has no one above him
to turn to with questions, and no one to
Doubt but himself, an incredibly lonely and isolating existence.
We must only assume that the common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place?
Yeah. So this is basically up for anyone's interpretation. You can, whatever you gain, whatever knowledge you gain from this is yours and yours alone. It's everyone has their perception as to why God did what He did, how He did what He did, and everything in between. Is just no one really knows, mere speculation. So yeah, I don't know. It's a slippery slope, but everyone's is entitled to their idea as to what not what, but God's intentions. Were we cast down also like Lucifer and given the same fate as Lucifer, should I say? I wouldn't say cast down. We were already down, but yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I wasn't there. I wasn't born and living in those times. I didn't speak with God Himself, so I could, yeah. But my only thing is, I don't see God being lonely. No, that I don't know. I'm almost positive He's not lonely, because heaven is full of people, His angels. He has an army, to, yeah. So I don't see that. He's busy. He too busy to be lonely. And yeah, no, I can't see that.
The desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place? The constantly looping bittersweet irony is whether gifted by some omnipotent God or simply a byproduct of billions of years of evolution, here we stand in 2023 as creatures with free will, the only creatures that understand and define good from bad, creatures with the potential of a God. And what do we do with that free will, my friends? We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice. The empires we build ravage the earth. The natural order of things are necessary to survive. Any systems which do not honor homeostasis eventually perish. Our free will overrides our own biological instinct. We can take more than we eat. We can kill more than we need. We can willingly create weapons with the potential to burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide to bow at the altar of greed, the most insidious and destructive of all sins. We put our faith in corporations who pose as rulers. We willingly allow ourselves to be led by outdated power systems ran by corrupted politicians
and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land.
We willingly elect the corrupted when the decision was always ours to build build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed upon us by an all-powerful God or by his demonic adversary. They are here because of us, not because of free will, but because of our inability to use it. We must be motivated to be better, not out of fear of punishment of an eternal damnation, but because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment. In this moment, how much suffering is happening all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of illnesses that could have easily been cured, but aren't because of the selfishness and greediness of humanity? How many people break their backs and reject their own passions to simply afford bills and food? How many of us crave distraction from existence? How many of us numb that pain in whatever way necessary? How many children are being abused? How many people sleep cold and hungry on the streets? How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many...
Okay. I see you, Rand. I see you. Making sense now, for sure. Okay, so yeah. Like I say, Rand, nothing is by accident with Rand. Nothing. He's making a point. He's making a point.
How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many soldiers have been forced to fight in meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals they don't believe in or understand? How many people have died for the greed of another man? And how much of this was avoidable? As written in the Bible, Satan was not condemned to hell. Satan was condemned to earth. He lives there amongst other creatures with free will, who always had the choice and still chose their own undoing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our self-made hell. The bittersweet irony is this is a creation of our own design. I'll leave you with this.
Facts. Yeah. And, you hear people say all the time, they always like to throw God in everything as to why this, why that. When something bad's happen, they blame God. But God isn't the problem. No, he is not the problem. He gave us choices. He gave us, as he say, free will. That's the one thing God cannot mess with. He gave humans free will. Now, what humans decided to do with it has nothing to do with God. No, it has nothing to do with God. It's just us. We are destroying ourselves because of greed. That's and basically all the damn set, all the sins, if you want to be truthful, but greed is at the top of that list. So yes, we are, God didn't make guns. Nope. God did not make all these diseases. No, most of these diseases were made in a lab. Yeah, they were. And if you ask me, I think they were made intentionally, mainly to control population and to make the pharmaceutical companies billionaires or trillionaires or whatever, because as long as America is sick, they gonna push them drugs on you. So, it's just, yeah, you name it, cigarettes, guns, drugs, whatever. It just, man did it all. Man is destroying the very fabric of this planet. but yet you want to, you want to blame God for that. Well, I guess somebody got, you're gonna point the finger, but just know when you point a finger at someone, there's still those three pointing right back at you. Yeah. So you might point it at this person, but who's to blame? Yeah. We just don't want to take accountability for our actions. That's what it is.
Irony is this is a creation of our own design. I'll leave you with this. Consider what you have done here today. You have worked together as individuals collaborating to form a giant neural network, a hive mind capable of achieving incredible things. We have lent on each other's strengths to solve puzzles and decipher riddles, and we've done so to win money. Imagine applying that same spirit and determination to creating the closest thing we have to paradise here on Earth. By using the power of collaboration, we can work together to even the playing field for everybody. Our dystopias can become utopias. Our Jahannams can become Jannah. Our hells can become heaven, right here on Earth. And this sentiment applies to atheists, agnostics, and believers alike. Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in us. We must do better because we can choose to.
Right.
We must be
Right.
better simply because the option exists. Thank you.
That's facts, Ren. So yeah, Ren. Nothing is by accident with Ren. So I like the way he started it off, telling the story of God, Lucifer, Eden, Adam and Eve, and then going into free will of man. Yes, we have free will, so everything you can't blame God for our mess ups. He gave us free will. Now, what we choose to do with it, that's on us. That is not on him at all. Everything going on this damn earth is on us. Can't blame nobody but ourselves. Yep. And I mean, you just have to take accountability. Yeah. Everything from guns, drugs, famine, you name it, it's all us because of our greed and damn near every sin for that matter. Yeah, every sin is mainly greed though. That's at the top of the list. So Ren hit the nail on the head with that. Yeah, I loved every minute of it. But then again, hell, I love every damn thing Ren does. For that matter, the boy he's beyond his years. He really is. And he giving us the game. He knows. And what's funny is we know. We know right from wrong. We know what we doing, but we choose to do the opposite of what's right. I said in a video before that, just because you can do something don't mean you should. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure you can drive a car with your foot. Don't make it a good fucking idea. Sure as hell don't. But hey, you got people out there that's gonna do it anyway. Yep, they're gonna do it anyway. Because they choose to. And then when they run into a tree or someone else and life gone, who you think they gonna blame? They gonna blame the person who was driving the damn car with their feet, or they gonna blame God? Come on, really? Yeah, the person who was driving the car with their damn feet, they to blame. God had nothing to do with that. So, yeah, Ren, I'm 100% with you, Ren, on that, bro. It's all on us. It's our doing. And just like we did this, we can undo it. We just gotta all get on one accord we can make this a utopia. We can have heaven on earth. We really can, if we choose to. But you have to really want it. If you don't want to take steps necessary to make this a better place, don't complain when shit go bad. Don't complain when your house get broken into. Don't complain when your car gets stolen. Don't complain when you see people dying in the street. You know, you're not doing anything to make it better. So, yeah, we can't complain until we start taking the necessary steps to make this a utopia, a place where you can be proud to say you live in. Yeah. But until that day, hey, here's what it is. We just we can't blame God. So on that note, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. This video gonna be hella long. It's shit supposed to just be, I try not to go over 15 minutes, but yeah, I'm sure we're gonna hit 30. So no more pain. Click. Chili beans. Renegades. Peace.